Hello, Greater Ain't. The viewer. You're once again proving to be the viewer. How do you feel about that honor? How do you feel about having the honor of being the viewer of Lucy Haze? I got to monopolize your time, that's true. You do get to monopolize my time. You think I might go back to watching soil videos? What are soil... what? I... soil videos. Just don't... I don't know. Might as well make a low-level joke. Don't soil yourself. There you go. I did the joke. My day was angry. Sorry. My day was angry, frustrating, and unpleasant. Wow. Being so negative. But you know... oh gosh. I cannot find my calm. Another thing to my little not great day thing. Hello, fake Alec Parker. Oh, it's because there are a bunch of people that decided to not follow their obligations. I had to hunt them down one by one, ask them why they haven't followed their obligations, and then they gave me a bunch of cheap excuses. After I asked them why they did not feel the need to inform me about anything, and then a bunch of different things, little things that just got me very frustrated. I need a new mouse to use with the laptop because the touchscreen is just very bad. I'm doing a thing on the laptop, but doing it without a mouse just makes everything go 5 times longer than it should. Like if I use the mouse, I move the cursor like this, right? Very smoothly, very fluently. But if I use the touchpad, it's like, you know, and when I try to do any sort of precision work, like I'm trying to do a translation, I'm doing a little bit of a translation right now for a documentary, and I'm trying to move on the timeline, but it keeps jerking. The subtitle thing keeps moving. Things keep getting screwed up. Point is, coupled with dealing with people that I should not be having to deal with, and a couple of other things, it's just frustrating, you know? I got frustrated today. So I'm gonna drink Coke. How are you today? I just got a new mouse a few days ago. Luckily, I was infuriating with it cutting off every few seconds. Yeah, pretty significantly. Because people are falling short, I am now in a cold house without heating, but let's not get into the details why. It is what it is. People fail. One moment. We will be talking about a few things today. Don't worry. I don't know, maybe. Hold on. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. In fact, bring your friends and family because it seems like, I don't know, the viewership has been lower today even than usual, which makes me sad. And you know, when I well, whatever. I'm always sad. My leg thing. Oh my gosh, hold on. I have to change something. Oh, I don't know why. I just cannot find my brush. And you know what I need my brush for? I need it to comb my hair. Because without a brush, I just cannot comb my hair. And when I cannot comb my hair, I get unhappy. And when I get unhappy, it's the opposite of being happy, as you may know. Being unhappy is the opposite of being happy. I found it! Oh my gosh, now I'm happy. Today I'm alright. And yeah, this chair that I'm on can just, it can break at any moment. So if my chair breaks and along with it my neck, you know why. It's because the chair is faulty. It's in the middle of being broken. So, well, it is actually broken. It's just it's kept together by thoughts and prayers. Your thoughts and prayers. The more of you are here to think and pray about my chair, the least probability that it will fall and break my neck. So, more viewers should come and think and pray on my chair. And then maybe I will not die. Thoughts and prayers chair. Oh my god, true. IOP day today, which was kind of intense. Oh, well, welcome to my club of crying over everything all the time. I cried at the bus station while heading to Poland. Lucy is short, hopefully. Well, I'm not short, but I don't know. People get hang up over trivial things. I got told when I asked someone if I had huge feet. They just looked at me and said, "Who gives a f? Who gives a f?" That was basically it. Who cares? Who cares if you got big feet? Nobody does, and neither should you. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. That was a lesson. That was a learning moment for me. The other learning moment was when the same person told me that I have very bad ticket buying habits and that one day I will just go to the bus station going to Warsaw. I'll go to the bus. I'll say, "Hey, bus driver, I want to buy a ticket." And the driver will tell me, "Well, they're all sold out and all the places are full." So I decided to wisen up. I decided to mend my ways and go and buy a ticket 4 hours in advance. That was 4 hours of me being able to freely cry or something. Different people and cultures have weird standards and hang-ups. I've heard in some Asian countries forehead size is important. Yeah, it is important. What do you mean? Listen, if I had a higher forehead, do you know what it would indicate? it would indicate that my hair is moving back. So yeah, of course. Of course. High forehead equals, you know? Yeah. Believe it or not. Like my forehead became sort of shorter ever since I went on the HRT because my hair became thicker on at the front, but it was thinner. It was like, you know, goofy goober. No, no. I'm a serious political commentator. I'm the most serious commentator in this space. I have the most important, very. I'm a historian, political commentator, wannabe interviewer, super cool stuff. I'm very, very informative, very knowledgeable, genius, and everybody should watch me. This is my new positive affirmation tactic strategy that will allow me to win in life. I've tried the whining and crying strategy and it brought me no viewership. Now I will try the arrogant, boastful, super boom whatever thing and it'll bring me success. Someone said I had a receding hairline years ago. I still haven't noticed any difference. Yeah, of course you wouldn't notice any difference because it's incremental. It's so incremental that it creeps up on you. You'll never notice it on yourself until you're bald. You only notice it when you're bald. That's my little. Lucy, that bracelet might be bad. A bad way to stop bleeding in hindsight. Wait, why? Why is it bad? You have to unbraid it. If you unbraid it, then you can stop the bleeding. Infection? Listen, would you rather be infected or dead? Huh? Infected or dead? Infection can be treated. Death cannot be treated. Choose. Choose your medicine. Plus, it's a gift. So, of course, I wouldn't be treating anyone with it. A person could be bleeding to death. And I'd be like, but I got it from a person that I like. You know? It's a gift. I cannot use that. I'm sorry, person that's dying. So, it's like life is made out of those difficult choices that we have to make, and we have to make the best of them, or else, life would be sad, miserable, and depressing. You know? I hate men who love being creepy towards women. True. Well, I'm me, so thankfully no men are creepy towards me. In fact, no men or women are creepy towards me. I will take that as a good thing. Oh, you could keep the bloody bracelet. Everyone wins. That's true. I could just remove the bracelet later on and just put it back on, braid it again manually, and just keep the bloody bracelet on. True. It would make me very original. It would give me some originality points. So how is everybody feeling? Fake Alec Kyle Parker. Fake Alec Kyle Parker is here. Wait, does fake Alec Kyle Parker have the permissions? No, that's Greater Ain't. Okay, we have to start a poll. No one would bless. No one would bless with you. No one would mess with you. You have a bloody bracelet. Everybody would still mess with me. People love messing with me. I know at least one person that just loves messing with me. In various ways. So, Paul, I'm going to start one on YouTube, and Greater Rain is going to start one on the page. Serious politics versus gaming time. Which one do you prefer? As a warm-up time for the stream, which hopefully will pick up pace. Because, you know, as all things, sometimes you just need time to warm up. Because if you don't properly warm up, you'll end up with a crippled, broken back, and you'll just become a sad person. Just like Bruce Lee, who thought he was the best and didn't need to stretch before his exercise. And he ruined his health for life. And that's my message to all of you. Whatever you do in life, do properly warm up, or else it will come back to haunt you forever. There's apparently a new Diablo 4 expansion, and apparently it's really bad. Oh yeah, we got polls now, that's right. I only took how long to figure out? Listen, what is more important to you? The fact that it took long, or the fact that it happened at all? You make that call. Would you rather it not be figured out at all? Or do you appreciate the fact that it has been figured out? Actually, that's a lie. I still haven't figured it out. Greater Rain has it more figured out than I do. If I had to make a poll, I still would not be able to do it because I still don't know how. And that is how I roll, basically. So, which option won in the page thing? They didn't give Toy an owner's manual. Listen, Toy just happens to be a word that means me. So you just asked they didn't give me an owner's manual. In which case, Dr. John's, I don't know. Toy is me in Vietnamese. Toy la Lucy. It means my name is Lucy in Vietnamese. Yes. I'm a multilingual, multi-talented genius. Which is why everybody's ultra jealous of my genius and decide not to watch my streams. I'm high on anesthetics. Are you on a hospital? Are you in a hospital? Lucy, you're talented with language. It's true. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's the last thing that I am. You know what I am talented in? Crying, complaining. But now I'm growing a new talent. I'm growing a completely new tech tree. I have decided to invest my experience points into a whole new branch, and that is boasting and being arrogant. That is my new path to success. Boastful arrogance, the new sort of talent tree that I have decided to invest in. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes, and we'll just see what sort of future it will lead me to. What do you think? Oh, yeah. I got a really cool thing for us to talk about today. And it's, Lucy, would I lie to you? You'd never lie to me, but you could not have the full picture. You could not have the full information. You could not have like the full context of the situation, which would lead to you being misled by my lies and smoke and mirrors and you know, all that other stuff that people get deceived by on the daily. All right. Yes, I was about to tell you how we can combine history, recent history, mind you, politics, super cool, important politics, and newspaper reading, I guess. Because I just found a very interesting newspaper. It's about the transformation from the old Soviet bloc timey reality of life, economic reality of life, and how people who were so hopeful for the future of a democratic country had their dreams and aspirations crushed by the country transitioning. No pun intended there. It has nothing to do with me being trans, so don't go there. To a new capitalistic system. Excited? Are you excited for what I have to say there? What do you mean, what am I doing? Streaming! I'm streaming and explaining to you the topic that I'm about to do. And then I saw myself in the thing and I was like correcting myself. I'm gonna read the chat. They ripped out of two of my wisdom teeth this morning. I made a shitty joke on the Twitter about it a bit to forget to add you because I referenced you in it. Oh, you referenced me in your tweet about teeth. Jesus. My dreaded subject, teeth. Because you're inherently sneaky and deceptive. Nah, you're not sneaky. Maybe occasionally reclusive with details, but not sneaky. Deceptive for a one or one with a poker. I have a poker face. Do I have a poker face? No, I was watching myself actually. I wasn't watching anything in particular. I was watching myself because I was like, how do I look? Very sad. So yes. So what do you think? Nobody I listen, I make a whole lecture or on what I'm about to talk about and you're just like ignore it and write to me about something totally different and unrelated. If you're hearing a weird like sound that sounds like the wind, then it's probably because my laptop just my laptop's thing just kicked in. I heard that when your laptop's battery is 100%, you should unplug the thing because if it keeps being plugged to charging, it overloads your battery and it just bad. It was it was basically if I die in surgery, I wanted everyone to I hated being alive. Being alive particularly enjoyed watching your game stream. Aww. You wrote that if you die in surgery for wisdom teeth, you want people know that you enjoy my streams? Wow, thank you. That is so nice of you to say, even though the circumstance is a bit morbid. Holy crap. No, no way. Oh my god. Wow, no, that's impossible. No, that's impossible. Jesus Christ. I just remembered something. I shouldn't probably talk about it. Especially since I haven't confirmed it yet. This is me being sneaky and mysterious. I just remembered something from the past and it shook me to my core. Damn. Damn. So yeah, what do you think about my newspaper idea? Nobody commented on it. Nobody here. I think it's a good idea. Perfect. We're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about Donald Trump being a big ally of Russia, of course. Putin. Especially since, weirdly enough, a couple of new revelations about Trump came up. Woman, give me time to type. Are you a slow typer? Hyler? What is a hyler? Oh. You mean comfy hype? A hyper in chat? Just like in the Xander Hall streams. Just like in Xander Hall streams. Are you saying I'm like Xander Hall? Am I a Xander Hall type streamer? I'm the typing god. I reign unopposed. My rule is that of the Iron Fist. The Iron Fist tournament, you mean? Like Tekken. Tekken Tag Tournament or whatever. Let me check something. We're gonna watch the bird milk for a second because I have not prepared my stream at all. I never do. I'm proud of it. I improvise everything.
Because the other ones were...
You're not streaming from the basement or... What? No, I'm streaming from my father's previous workspace, actually. So, there you go. That is basically what I do. That is my style. Let's see what President Sunday's up to.
Towards the contemporary end of the mytho spectrum. They emphasize the relatable inner lives of their heroes, and also the sympathetic motivations of their villains. Now, the question to ask is what makes something less contemporary and more mythological? I can think of 4 different answers to this question.
Oh
my first answer has to do with the world building. So let's remember that in fantasy, you don't actually have to have a pre-modern world. Star Wars I consider fantasy, even though that's a futuristic world. What's important here is not how...
excuse me, it actually starts off by saying a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Past.
Wow. President Sunday's watching some smart content. President Sunday's way smarter and wiser than I am. Lucy, sorry, I'm not a multitasker. While I type, I kind of zone out what I'm hearing when I'm listening. I zone out chat, etc. Well, that is the wise thing to do. You're not streaming, Sween. My territory is thus YouTube chat is more securely held in the kingdom of heaven. Listen, if you want a real chat, then you should go to this link, visit the side chat, start an account, watch the stream from that side chat, and subscribe and become like a not a white person in the chat. That is my advice to you. You don't necessarily have to uh, you know. Silent Hill has a remake. Okay, Silent Hill 2 has a remake. Do you want me to play the Silent Hill 2 remake on stream? Do you want it? You demand it? Lucy, have you ever done cognitive behavioral therapy? Maybe, I don't know. I've done lots of. Actually, I have not done lots of therapy, but I've done some. I've done a therapy, which is basically also almost the same thing as cognitive behavioral therapy. I have done a therapy. Okay? That's basically sort of kind of like a version of what you're talking about. In a way, if you twist it, if you look at it from a certain angle, from a certain perspective, and if you forget to use logic or any sort of sense. Alright? But it's okay. It's okay to do so from time to time. Sometimes it's just okay to turn off your brain. You should give Lucy your undivided attention, or else you get the Clockwork Orange treatment where we force you to watch her FNV gameplay. What? What? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Johns. What did you just say? I'm sorry. What was that, Dr. Johns? Did you imply that my Fallout New Vegas gameplay was bad? Are you saying I'm bad at Fallout New Vegas? What are you saying, Dr. Johns? Come on, spill it. Say it. Don't be afraid. I'm just imagining someone watching my 4-hour debate while being tortured in a basement now. Listen, more people should debate me, but people are afraid to debate me. People don't have the guts to debate me. Let's be honest about it. Only 2 people had the courage to debate me, and the third person that actually also had the courage to debate me, but it didn't happen because of me. I actually screwed up, and it didn't happen because of me. The debate that I was supposed to have with the non-smoker, was it? Oh, whatever. I forget it. I've already forgotten about it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I think they were replying to me because I said I'm distractible. Yeah, they replied to you by saying that my Fallout New Vegas gameplay sucks. Watching Lucy play Fallout New Vegas almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. You know what? I might just play it today. Just for you. I might just play it for you. I'm so bad at it. God. Hot chocolate sounds good right now. I wish I could make everyone hot chocolate. So, who wants to debate me? Who wants to debate me on whatever thing? Wait, who won the... How do I check the poll results? What are the poll results on the side page? Did politics win or did game win? Greater ain't. Game won? Really? Seriously? How many people voted? How many people voted in the side chat? One vote for politics, two for game. Yeah, votes in the side chat are worth more than YouTube votes, so I will play a game for a bit. I'm sorry. You know, I should play New Vegas, actually. I should play New Vegas. Just to teach you a lesson, or whatever. You should. Jesus. Just for a bit. I do want to do some politics today. I do want to be a politics streamer. You know what? I think I should do the newspaper thing. Because it's interesting. I'm going to compromise. I'm going to do short politics. Then I'm going to do some game. Then I'm going to do the long politics. We're here for the long haul. Alright. Let's do this. Let's do this little thing. But first, I'm going to do the more important thing. Look. This is what you're here for. You're here to watch me do my hair. Isn't this what you came here for? So today, while looking for a very specific thing, I'm considering getting the Silent Hill game. It probably takes a really lot of the... So, when looking for a mouse, because as I've explained before, I had some real technical issues today, and I went to the basement, to my mythical basement to look for some mice. I actually found some really old mouse, which proved to be non-functional. I found a non-functional mouse, so that didn't help me much. But apart from non-functioning mice and disappointment, I've also found a very interesting newspaper from 2011. A newspaper from 2011 that spoke of the events of 1981. So that's already a bit of history, right? 2011 referencing 1981. But why? Why was that newspaper from 2011 referencing the events from 1981? 1981. Why? Well, that's because, and that is what actually caught my attention to begin with, the newspaper's headline says, we don't need this, "The Lost Generation. In independent Poland, I have lost my job and I have lost my dignity." It speaks of a case of a woman who lived in the non-independent Poland. Because keep in mind, historically speaking, when we speak of independence of Poland, when we speak of Polish sovereignty, between roughly 1945, no, actually, no, forget about that. Between roughly 1939 and 1989, Poland, historically speaking, at least within Poland itself, is not really considered to be a sovereign country. It's not considered a country that had sovereignty, because in that period it basically was considered 1939 to 1945. It was partitioned between Nazi Germany and the USSR, and after World War II it was considered a country that was controlled. It was, let's be honest, it was controlled by the USSR. So it had no sovereignty. It had no freedom. Thank you. And in 1981, due to certain events relating the Solidarity Movement was an anti-government movement, a party established by the workers, mainly by striking workers. It grew to millions of people. It was like a movement that demanded many sort of. It started with demanding better conditions for the workers, then it sort of grew to demand freedoms such as freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press, freedom of the media, many other things that have been demanded by the Solidarity movement to make the country more democratic. And due to that, out of fear of the USSR intervention, in 1981, Poland has installed the so-called martial law. Martial law. It was the martial law period. Many of the Solidarity people were arrested. My own father was arrested on day one of these events. It was very dramatic, very intense. In my other room, in my living room, there's still this framed black and white photo of my father and his Solidarity friends sort of standing like this in prison. It was a photo taken in prison. My father just stands like this in a defiant pose, and there are his sort of friends all around him. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm more here to talk about this piece written in the solidarity in the newspaper. The trauma of tanks on the streets have caused me to have great hope when it came to the democratic changes in 1989. But those changes did not bring anything good to this lady's life. New Poland, which after the trauma of the martial law has sort of managed to free itself from the oppressive regime of communism. It was supposed to bring freedom and prosperity to all Polish people. For Anna Zleudal... No, not Zleudal. This font is so small. For Anna Zieudalska, 59 years old, a sewer from like a person that sews fabrics from Toruń, the change in government, not just in change in government, the whole system change, sort of It proved to be a catastrophe for that person, in short. She lost her job, she lost her sense of dignity. Um, just because there was a restructuring in the company that she's been working in. She was unlucky. Some, uh, you know, someone who worked as like a hello Ravignon. Thank you. Some person who's an accountant just did not include her in the new payroll and she was laid off. Miss Anna from Toruń came. Miss Anna came to Toruń seeking bread from Buska Zdrój. She was 21 years old and she had great hopes. She quickly found a job in Toruń. She sort of sewed fabrics. She worked for a big sort of workplace that employed 6,000 people. All was good. It was there when she met her best friends. She learned the toughness of life. She learned responsibility. Because what she did was only sort of on the surface easy, but it was not an easy thing. This sort of sewing of fabrics that she did all was pretty good. She had learned the tough lessons of life and she had found her place. That's basically what is being put forward here. Her workplace took care of its people. It organized trips for the workers. When the workers had trouble with their housing situation, there were some called the so-called rotation apartments. People were very nice to one another, and that is basically how Miss Anna remembers that period of the old Polish People's Republic. Those are her memories. This is how she saw her reality, basically. Somehow she survived the martial law period and the empty store shelves. The trauma of tanks on the streets have caused her to look into the changes in 1989 with great hope. She was hoping that freedom of the country would bring new possibilities, new chances, more. Well, there would be more, prosperous. The future was looking to be more prosperous than even before. And then the 90s came. And as almost everybody, she believed that the country would flow with honey and milk. And her first slap on the face came when her company became restructured. She fell victim to the change. She was thrown out of her job without any explanation. It just happened that the uh, people in charge of financing did not include her. It just, accountants did not include her. She did not give up and found a job in a factory uh, in a sweets factory, in a factory that sort of created sweets. The Copernicus Sweets Factory, in fact, a very famous historical figure, Copernicus. It was the second biggest factory in Toruń. After 7 months, she was thrown out. It is pretty colorful, but so what? Anna Żółdalska understands that the world has changed and we are living in a free world now. She understood that the communist Poland was gray and today's Poland is colorful. But back then, my life used to be better, as the woman reminisces. Right now, everybody just looks to backstab one another. It felt like everybody had money, but there was nothing in the stores. But we were able to get by. Now you can buy everything, but so what? There's no money to do it. Miss Anna sighs as she says it. This is not how I imagined my new Poland to be. She ends her musings with resignation, which is a pretty sort of sad, you could say, pessimistic note to end this article, this little discussion on. But it is an important sort of thing that gets, I could say that it's not necessarily discussed enough, how the old regime that was, let's say, pretty Are we back? Hold on, my camera is not working for some reason right now. Are we back? Yeah, we seem to be back. When I finished talking about the thing, but the problem is that my camera just refuses to work now. My camera refuses to cooperate now. Which is not great. I know. This is very, very unfortunate, very depressing. Hey, but you know it is what it is. We have to deal with the cards that we are given. I'm sticking to it. Time to dust off the, well, unfortunately the VTube model also depends on a functional camera. So even if I wanted to dust off my VTube model, it would just not work because it has to capture me. It has to capture me in order to, Oh! Now we're back. Okay, now we're truly back. After activating, deactivating 1 million times in a row, it worked. Perfect. We can now finish my thoughts on the thing that we just read. I have no clue where it sort of froze, so I'll just talk about what I wanted to talk, pretending that I've not said anything. That's the best approach. So, there was this oppressive regime before 1989. It called itself, oh, thank you. It called itself communism. People's Republic of Poland was indeed quite repressive. It was quite a repressive regime. Did I just get raided? Oh my gosh, thank you. Hello. But squid ray. Thank you very much. Okay, since we've been raided, there is an explanation that I need to do. There's some explaining that I have to do. So, today, while looking for a new workable mouse, I have found an article. An article in the old newspaper. Oh my gosh, that's my brush. About a woman. This is an article from 2011 that speaks about 1981 Poland. It speaks of the generation lost. And now I can explain. Before 1989, Poland used to be part of the Soviet bloc, of the Eastern Bloc, part of the Communist bloc, so-called Communist bloc, and it was under a pretty oppressive regime. And so a big movement called Solidarity, a fundamentally workers' movement, started at first to fight for better workers' rights, and then it expanded into something much bigger. It expanded into a movement that fought for things like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of being able to have media that did not follow the party line, because Poland at the time was a one party state, and that party dictated what would be talked about in the newspapers, in the news, in any type of media. And the underground solidarity movement created its own newspapers, published its own books, and sort of dispersed, sort of spread its own, you could call it alternative, illegal media that basically tried to inform people without the taint of censorship. I would know because my father happened to be one of those people that was inside of the solidarity movement. He published my apartment, my childhood apartment was used as printing press for that sort of illegal media. But after Solidarity basically won in 1989, the whole system crumbled. The system was changed from the so-called communist system to a capitalist one. The biggest losers, ironically enough, of the changes, the biggest losers of that transformation from communism, quote unquote, to capitalism were the workers. The main people that made that change happened to begin with. The brunt of the solidarity movement has been betrayed by the solidarity movement. They were left behind in the changes. A lot of the people lost their jobs, lost their dignity. As they said, the newspaper sort of describes a single case of a single woman who says, Polish People's Republic used to be gray. You used to have the money, but there was not a thing to be bought in the stores. And now the new Poland that I envisioned is colorful. You can buy anything, but nobody has the money to. That is not the Poland that I envisioned. And why am I talking about this? You could say, why are you even talking about this? That's not really all that relevant. That's not really all that important. Well, there is a certain level of big relevancy here, because here in the Eastern sphere of things, when a huge swath of people feel that they've been left behind, when a huge number of people feels like they have been betrayed, what happens? There's a certain void in their lives. There's a certain feel of betrayal, there's a certain feel of even backstabbing that happened. And what happens when that feeling grows and sort of boils inside of people? Historically speaking, what usually happens when such a thing occurs? Well, what happens, no, actually, not just protesting. What happens is that you have populist demagogues, usually right wing variety populist demagogues, that will swoop in and say, all of you betrayed people, all of you people that have no money, that are betrayed, that live in poverty, your life sucks. You know what we should do? We should get rid of the immigrants. We should get rid of the LGBT. Um, we should introduce a tough government. We should introduce more sort of in control government that would be sort of, it will give you the prosperity that you need. But you need to sort of trust us, vote for us, and put us in power. That is basically what happens. We need to go back to the traditional values, those traditional values that the new Poland has betrayed, has led you to where you are now. And we can change that. We're going to change that. We're going to change your lives for the better through those policies of, delegalizing gays and transes, and by getting rid of those brown people that take your jobs, and by, you know, changing the court system a little bit so that we can be in charge more. Because, if we do all that, your lives will simply become better. Unlike what your lives are now. You see what I'm going with this? This sort of thing, this sort of unwise rushing into changes that happen from 1989 forward that left a huge chunk of workers disillusioned, betrayed, and impoverished, has opened the gates for the right wing to swoop in with promises. And this is basically one of the main causes of the right wing success in Poland. This is exactly how Law and Justice Party has been able to be in charge in Poland for so long, until not so long ago, because of these sort of things, because of this legacy of the solidarity movement that has basically betrayed its own movement in a way. It has betrayed itself because the workers were the movement. You see? So that's a little bit of a thing to think about, right? Don't you think? Do you not think that it's like a little bit of thing? There's a poll in YouTube for anybody that's interested. There's like still a poll. Is the poll still on? So how did you like this little segment? 12 votes. Politics. You want still politics after this, huh? Interesting. Alright, we're gonna do more politics then. Mute tab. I was hoping you'd be excited for my new, what's it called? New Vegas gameplay. Or I could get the, oh yeah, by the way, if you're really interested, you can join the White Forest Mafia and subscribe to Because hopefully now I'm your new favorite streamer, right? After you've tasted a lot, well, not a lot, after you've tasted a bit of Lucy Haza, hopefully I'm your new favorite streamer. You've got everything here. You've got gaming, you've got politics, you've got history. Isn't that exciting in a way, kind of? The left does not identify with blue collar workers, the only real working class, by the way. Listen, the lady that I talked about was a suing person in a factory, a factory worker. I felt this was very important detail about political trends I see in here a bit, not necessarily the uprising against communists, but just the working class feeling left behind and looking for something to turn to. Basically, yeah. And it sort of became a big thing in the changes from communism, quote unquote, because it was never truly communism, and that's a whole topic that I could get into, but I'm not going to because this is simply not the time. But the changes from controlled economy to completely capitalist economy, I guess that is what I'm going to say about it. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Have you heard about the Trump thing? How many of you have heard about the Trump thing? Are you here for the Trump thing? Okay, I'm starting a new poll actually. Forget about this old boring poll. It seems like none of you want to join the side page. All of you have been poisoned by Westside Tyler or whatever, thinking that White Forest is pure evil. It's okay. You don't have to support me on White Forest, even though it allows me to pay my bills. It's okay. I'm not going to shame you into it, even though I'm actually doing it right now by saying what I'm saying. But forget about it. Just pretend I did not say what I said right now, and everything will be okay. So, are we here for the Trump topics 2017 and the COVID test calls with Putin? Are we here for that? Hell yeah. Heck no. I have my Wi-Fi membership. Oh yeah, you have your White Forest. Can you explain why the left, at least in America, don't align with blue-collar essential workers? You know, the ones Mark spoke about as the working class. Can you elaborate on your question? If you elaborate on your question, then I will elaborate on my answer with pleasure. In fact, you know what? Trolling from Flask. If you join the page and ask your question in more detail, then I will answer. As I feel like I have an answer for you. I sort of feel like I have an answer for you. Thank you for the $10, Tairyu. Here for Lucy Best Streamer. Content only. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about Trump. Let us talk about Trump. Because it seems like our... Well, not our. I'm Polish. So, I'm off the hook. Okay, that's a lie. I'm not off the hook. Because whatever happens in the US affects the entirety of the globe. Let's not kid ourselves on that front. The sad, cruel reality of the situation is that every stupid mistakes that people in the US make at the polls will affect all of us. If you doom the USA, you doom the entire world. So don't feel pressured. Don't feel any pressure to do the right thing during the voting. Lisa Blogger is white. So it seems like former President Trump, possibly shortly new president, recurring president, might become president again. Looks like President Donald Trump might not be as pro-America as we all believed. But we'll get into that. In fact, it might be that the great leader Donald Trump might actually not be as great of a negotiator, of a deal breaker, deal maker as we all assumed. I personally thought that Trump was a great deal maker. You know? Let's just forget about how he went to North Korea. He did the whole spiel about having great relations with the leader of North Korea. Let's forget about the fact that I still remember when there was this meeting on the border between the leaders of North and South Korea. Trump was like, "Yeah, I'm making this happen. I'm making this big breakthrough. I'm speaking on the same level with the leader of North Korea, and it's gonna be great. North Korea is gonna abandon all of its nuclear plans. Like its leader promised it to me. We're buds. I'm the best. I did it. I basically, pacified North Korea." And North Korea was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, that's totally what's happening. Um, that is absolutely what is happening." Let me see. Kim. And then Trump returned home, and North Korea, Kim basically returned to business as usual, making Trump look like the fool. Because, of course, Trump seems to have this weird, how should I say, view of himself that he can befriend authoritarian despots, and somehow through his charisma, friend making, cake eating, doing things together, talking about things together, he can just make them do whatever he wants. I I have no clue how I'm baffled as to what the logic behind his thinking is. And he tried it with North Korea. He tried it with Russia, as we will get into in a moment. He destroyed the nuclear deal with Iran. It baffles the mind why he thinks that he has such great influence through his personal charisma over dictatorial despots. But it seems like in 2017, soon after taking office, Trump met with Putin. They were talking. They were like sort of having this little talk as leaders of the countries. And during that talk, he asked Putin, I have no idea why you would ask Putin about this on this particular matter, but he basically asked Putin, "Hey, should I support Ukraine? Should I arm Ukraine against those separatists in the east of Ukraine? In eastern Ukraine, should I support Ukraine?" And Putin was like, "You know what? I think it would be a mistake. if you give Ukraine support, they'll just come back and ask for more. So that's a mistake. And Trump was like, oh, well, damn. If Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, the biggest ally and friend of Ukraine, says that, then it must be true, clearly. And apparently, the politicians around Trump sort of were nervous about this conversation and later told that they had to think of whole strategies on how to change Trump's mind on Ukraine. This is basically considered the origin point of Trump's weird animosity towards Ukraine, by the way. This is considered to be this beginning of the Trump weird relationship to Ukraine. But it also is very demonstrative of the fact that Trump thinks of himself as this shrewd, brilliant leader that is a big manipulator, that is a big sort of negotiator. But in reality, he gets played like a fiddle, but by other people, right? Like in the end, during Trump's administration, some weapon sales were sort of approved for Ukraine, but it remains a fact that Vladimir Putin was able to influence strongly Trump's view of Ukraine and how Ukraine should be supported or not supported, right? He basically, and there's this very strange way in which Donald Trump seems to be putting friendships with those dictators before the interest of the United States, which is a bizarre thing to say, because it seems that after, as it turns out, Trump left office when he was no longer president and when he sort of had no real obligation to talk to the dictators of the world. It seems like he had 7 calls with Putin, which is quite a lot of phones for a private person, not a president anymore, to make to the president of the Russian Federation. And it seems like the big news right now is that during a big shortage of tests for the coronavirus, Donald Trump has facilitated the sending of tests for Putin's own personal use. So basically, putting the interests of Vladimir Putin before the interest of the United States, when, let's be honest, tests are quite important. Getting tested is quite important, not to mention the whole vaccination thing. My father died of COVID right before the vaccination was rolled out. Vaccination makes the symptoms go much milder than if you're not vaccinated. It has been demonstrated, has been proven, it's not debatable. So basically, the reality of the situation is that if my father got vaccinated, he'd probably be alive right now. And I'd be not in this room. He'd be in this room working on something or whatever. So I find it very interesting that the president that claims to be running his whole campaign, his whole movement, not even his whole campaign, his whole MAGA movement, Make America Great Again movement, is based on this premise of putting America first. America first. Let's not let brown people get into the country and steal your jobs. America first. Let's not continue the endless wars. Let's not fund Ukraine. America first. Let's take that American aid to Ukraine. Let's take all those weapons and ship them to Florida to aid in the flooding. America first. You know? And it seems kind of funny when you see that openly Trump is all America first, America first. But it seems like in reality, what Trump is Russia first. Or not even Russia first, actually. Vladimir Putin first, since he sent him the COVID tests. And there's this transcript of their conversation in which Putin says, "Hey, don't tell everybody that you've sent those to me. Everybody will be mad at you. Nobody cares about me, but people will be mad at you." And Trump's like, "I don't care, I don't care." It's very weird. It's very strange. America first, only watch American streamers. Listen, I'll have you know that your second favorite streamer is streaming right now and he's American, okay? And he's having much bigger numbers than me for some reason. Can you imagine that? Here, this cute trans streamer is streaming and some cis dude is streaming and is having much bigger numbers than me. Oh, it happens. It's okay. I'm gonna get over it. Oh, Destiny has much bigger numbers than me. But I'm talking about Philip August's favorite streamer, apart from me. I like the framing of Putin first rather than Russia first, because wasn't Trump's Russia policy a weird mix of appeasement and escalation? I mean, he didn't exactly send those tests to Russia. He sent them personally to Putin because okay, this is me theorizing. I'm gonna preface this by saying that I have no evidence for this. I'm not treating this as fact. I'm being responsible with my commentary. I'm being responsible with my influencing the 42 people that are watching me right now. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But it seems to me, it feels to me like Donald Trump puts a lot of stock in his personal relationships that he builds between people, in his personal charisma that he sort of thinks he oozes. And it feels to me like he thought to himself, hey, you know what? If I smartly support this brutal dictator now from my personal relationship with him, then I'll be able to have him in my pocket. He'll owe me. He'll owe me a favor. So I'll be able to influence him in the future or whatever. I'll be able to have Putin do whatever I want. I guess I'll just have Putin in my pocket. He'll be my bitch. Because I sent him those tests that one time. It just feels to me like that. He's like, oh yeah, this dictator that doesn't care about anything. He's good friends with me. I have a very good relationship with him. So I'll definitely will be able to convince him to do anything I want, even though it has backfired time and time and time again when he tried to put this theory into practice. In fact, during the meeting with Zelensky very recently, he kept babbling about how I've got a very good relationship with. I've got a good relationship with both Zelensky. I've got a good relationship with Putin. It's all gonna be fine. I'm gonna end the conflict within 24 hours. And I just don't see it. All I can see is a man that thinks he's controlling everything and is being just duped by everyone around him. That is all that I see. Alrighty, I guess that's a segment. That's a bit of a segment about the Trump thing, wouldn't you say? I've babbled on a long time. Let's see, trolling from Flask. It's called Carrot and a Stick, Philip. Lucy, should kids be allowed to medically transition? I guess we're doing this now because I'm a trans person. I have to be the trans spokesperson on all the. I see a golden-haired emperor. You're being sarcastic in the chat, aren't you? I don't believe that you're President Sunday viewer and you think like that. I cannot believe you. But I'll bite. What do you mean by medically transition? Guess we're doing this now. We're doing the trans topic because I'm trans, so I have to do the trans topic. Jesus, I'm gonna catch a screenshot. Jesus, hold on, I have to check something. Oh my gosh. No way. Hold on, no way. No way. There we go. we go. Jesus. Sorry, I have to. So, okay. No, I like Trump. Any of it. Okay, trolling from Flask. Do you want to call in? Is that a debate in the making? Do you want to debate me on trans rights? Let's go. Debate me. I'm here for it. I've already debated one person for 4 hours once. Debate me. What do you mean by any of it? What do you mean? Do you mean puberty blockers, hormones, surgery? Does social transition count as medical transition in your world? Do you actually like Trump? I don't believe you. I this is all a bit. You're giving you're doing a bit. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. I don't believe you. I mean, you pick. Wait, I pick if I want to debate you, or do I pick which treatment? You're a lot more feminine every day. Me? Really? You might even love him a little, honestly. That's a bet. I don't believe you. Listen. Don't try to troll me. Don't try to troll me. You might think you're the troller, but you know what? You might find yourself to be the trollee. That makes no sense, but you know what I mean. You might think you're a troller, but you're the trollee. Exactly. If a person milks a million trolls, they're outbuilding. Wise words. Treatment. I can't call in right now. Let me guess, you're at work, so you cannot call in to debate me. You cannot defend your ideas. You cannot defend yourself in the marketplace of salesmanship or whatever. Do I have to debate convenient Estelle as well? I don't think social transition is silly as a concept. I think it's a very real concept, unfortunately. You may call it silly, but it's still very real. Maybe you find it silly because you live in the, like, I don't know, of a more tolerant country, but in a country such as Poland, that the idea of socially transitioning is not near as silly as you might believe. There you go. Call your doctor if your trolls last more than 5 minutes. There you go. I win. I think I win. Everybody's too scared to call in and debate me. It's okay. I'm like, oh, gosh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wait, I can call in? Okay. You better have your arguments like this. Because if I hear any meandering, I'm gonna be like crazy, like West Side Tighter. If you're gonna meander, I'm gonna be like, get to the point, get to the point, get to the point, because that seems to be the thing that people like. So, wait, are you calling in? Are you calling in? You look very lovely today, Lucy. Well, thank you very much. You know what would make me look even lovelier? If you watched the stream more. And do you know what would make me look the loveliest? If you join the page and consider supporting your favorite streamer, because how to say? Oh yes, that helps me pay the bills and not die. Yeah. Lucy looks the loveliest when crushing trolls. What made you want to be a woman? What do you mean? What do you mean? What made you want to be a woman? Are you implying that there was a time when I wanted to be a man, and then one day I woke up, I was like, oh my god, I don't want to be a man anymore. I have now decided that I want to be a woman for some arbitrary reason for which I've decided one day that now I want to be a woman. You know? I'm not sure how it's... Do you think that is how that works? Trolling from... Are you trolling me from a flask? Are you actually trolling me from a... You know how the homunculus ended up in Full Metal Alchemist? Do you want to end up the same? Do you want to end up the same as the little homunculus in the flask? It's trolled everyone as well. Hello. Oh, you're white. Thank you for the tier 1. I should come around more often. You've always a boost to my mood. Really? Oh, thank you. I love being a boost to other people's mood. You were born a man. How do you know? How do you know I was born a man? You can't know that. You don't know me. You've just met me. Wait. Have you just met me? Have you ever seen anything beyond this stream? How do you know I was born a man? Were you there when I was born? You don't know me. Maybe I'm a cis woman. For all you know, I'm a cis woman that pretends to be a trans woman. Take that. Take that. Because you transitioned, that's how I know. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs for Red Ruse, Stepan Pod, Adventurous Amish. Thank you, even though technically speaking Red Ruse already has a tier 4 subscription, but for some reason it's malfunctioning. I have to talk to White Nervosa because this is getting out of hand. This is getting really out of hand. You're confusing us, Lucy. Of course, that's my job as a streamer. You know? It's the streamer's job to be confusing. Did you call in? Okay, I'm joining. We're debating now. It's a debate.
Hello.
Hello, we're debating now. Hold on, I have to... okay, I'm gonna try my best to make you visible on screen. How about that? Do you want to be on screen, or do you want to be off screen for the
I
purpose of
mean, I have
protecting
my
your.
camera enabled, right?
Yeah, but you might
I
not.
wouldn't. I wouldn't have if I wanted. I didn't want to be seen. I wouldn't.
Have you considered that maybe you want your identity protected and maybe
I
you know
don't.
better?
I don't care. I'm a nobody.
I
Nobody cares about.
I order
Well,
you
some
to
people
care.
care about me,
Listen,
but
I order you to care. I order you to care
I
more. I've been told recently that
you
I
have my permission to put me on screen.
listen, I've been told recently that I mother people. Okay? I've been told by someone don't mother me and
Well, you're kind of old enough. Old enough. Why do I keep it?
oh my
Old enough
god, okay. There we go.
to be. I mean,
Jesus.
you're like 20 years older than me.
What are you 20?
No.
How old are
Oh,
you?
you're well. How old are you?
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
give
you
you a
first.
ballpark.
You first. You
Yeah,
first.
I'm 24.
Oh, I'm not 20 years older than you. Bam.
Okay. It's
Bam.
16.
Don't
16.
lie
You
about
were
me.
you
Don't
were you
slander
were
me.
you were a young mother. Okay.
Don't
Uh,
slander
it
me.
it's it's what happens.
Okay. You hear the debate. Get to the point. Get to the point. Get to the
Okay,
point.
so
Quickly, quickly. Point, 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 point.
social transitioning
Point.
is very strange as a concept. Not because it's not the lived reality of presumably all trans people uh, in this social context, but because there's so much repression, it just demonstrates how much repression there is in uh, in the mind of people just to just have changing those habits, those dressing dressing differently, those things as this this makes it such a big deal to people. Which is my point, really. It's nothing
Yeah,
more
but
than that.
yeah, but that doesn't make the social transition as a concept weird. It makes gender roles as a concept weird.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but since
Wait,
gender roles exist, then
uh,
social transition it's you know, it makes perfect sense within the world that we live in. That something like this could be used and adopted. It's not weird in the slightest, considering the world that we live in and the sad reality that we are shackled in.
yeah. Um, and like to speak, like at a young age, to speak of like transitioning as a big deal is like transposing those norms onto like transposing this repression onto um to well like onto a young mind to reproduce it, which is well it will happen either way, right? In a oppressive society that like
Stop
you
for a
learn.
second. Stop for a second.
Sure.
Trolling from Flask said, "Oh great, two non-native English speakers debating each other in English. Listen, I happen to be a certified English teacher. Screw you. Screw you. I'm certified to teach English as a foreign language to other people. My English
The
is
glorious.
fine. Okay? Do
Oh,
not
if we're
at
going
me.
to
Do not at me
others, the
for not being
glorious.
an English native speaker.
I don't you on Discord.
No.
The
I just read a person in the
no
chat saying
I'm talking to the glorious content who
No,
said
not the glorious
that.
content. The
Yeah,
trolling from
no,
Flask.
no. We're talking to the to different people.
Oh,
Um, like I don't think I don't think I block them. I
good,
don't block many
good.
people. I don't think I know them on
Concede.
Discord. In any case.
Right.
But yeah, we're just
We can.
wait.
Yeah.
I have some latency with chat because we might be talking about things that it's on the throttle latency shouldn't be an issue.
There you go. So I think I've won this debate because at the end of the day, we live in a certain reality, and we have to play
Yeah,
with the
of
cards
course,
that we're being dealt. So
of
social
course.
transition is part of that. Speaking of transitioning at a young age, it's
But
also part of that. We're
yeah,
just
of
playing with the
course.
cards that we're given. We
But the
have
way
to.
it's been portrayed as like almost as bad as a medical transition, or like even confused medical transition and like social transition to a kid who hasn't gone through puberty yet.
Yeah, but
Like
now you have to ask yourself who's doing the confusion and
yeah,
who's treating it as a bad thing, right?
yeah. Uh, it's well the people who don't want trans people to exist, who
Exactly.
like
So those
don't
people
believe in
will.
it as being a possible thing to be something that someone could want for themselves. Uh, well, I mean, it hasn't been ironed. Uh, I should iron it someday,
But
maybe
yes,
if I get an iron. Um, but I think it's just the thing with trans flags.
virtue
Uh,
points. Are you saying I have no virtue? The trolling from
the
the flask?
the books give you virtue.
True. No, it gives me nerd points actually. It actually takes away from my virtue. It makes me pretentious and arrogant, which my virtue plummets.
But yeah, the thing I've seen is like as being the thing that's driving uh people who are against trans people, who they just don't think it's someone that anyone could conceivably want to like
Yeah, but the problem
be
is
something else.
that talking about social transition and transitioning at a young age is towards people that actually accept the current world as it is and accept playing with the cards that we're being given, so to speak, and sort of doing certain things within the framework that we exist in. And the people that say that social transitioning at whatever age is bad, are the people that basically want to rip the cards and say, no, we're not playing, you just shouldn't exist under any circumstances, right?
Yeah, and like they're trying to like deconstruct it like it was some sort of a trick. Like, okay, if you were really trans, then you would act like I would, like the role I conceived of a trans person. Uh, and that well, that's a bit um away from like just denying trans people outright, but that's kind of the thing that happens with medical institutions. They can't deal with trans people. Uh,
Sorry, just sorry.
what happened?
No, I just saw something funny. Yep, don't worry.
Like they have to have this list. If you're trans, you have to show those symptoms, that dysphoria in that specific way. Like not because like the way dysphoria is being framed, uh it's it's more to contain trans people than to like accept them as they
Well,
as
yeah, of
they as
course, it is much better in the US in that regard when you have such a thing as informed consent, at least for adults. In Poland, I have been asked to demonstrate my suffering before I could get any sort of treatment. So let's remember that Poland is, at the end of the day, light years behind any sort of civilized country when it comes to trans issues. I've
well,
probably jumped through more hoops than any of the so called trans medicalists in the US.
yeah.
And
Well, it
yet,
depends. Even in the U.S., it
it
depends.
depends on the
Some,
state and this, etc.,
yeah, yeah.
etc. But you know,
Of-
on the whole, I would argue that the U.S. as a whole is far further ahead when it comes to trans issues as opposed to Poland as a whole. You know, you in
Yeah.
Poland, in Warsaw, you have a handful of people that even deal with trans issues, and I am willing to bet that you have tons more specialists when it comes to that in the US. Like as a simple example. Of course, there's the matter of the fact that that probably is not the greatest argument because the US is much bigger. It has a lot more people in it. So of course there's gonna be more experts on the topic of trans issues. But I think even proportionally, sort of relatively speaking, there's just much less people in Poland proportionally to its size, etc. That sort of are experts in that field.
Yeah. Um. I think it's also useful to look at it from um like uh okay, maybe it's a bit, it will be a bit gauche because I don't know as much as well, I'm still learning the thing about like the way Deleuze and Guattari speak of how 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 those things work, how the science, the uh, specifically in this case regarding to trans people uh, works at um, at some point. Uh, well, it's a bit hard because
Oh, I would just ask what's transmedicalism. Basically, transmedicalism, to put it very simply, is the belief that the only way to be trans in the correct way is to go through the whole medical procedure of transitioning. If you don't go that route,
uh,
you're not actually trans. You're a fake transgender if you don't do that.
I, I would go further and say that, well, like in the strictest sense, that's what transmedicalism means, but also that the autonomy and agency of trans people is fun. It's the belief that it should be fundamentally tied to not what we allow to anyone else, but to the institution, to uh, to the medical institution, uh, in any respect, uh, that like you are only allowed to call yourself trans, uh, or like that you should understand your transness as being something like well, some people will go to the outdated Blanchardist model of like you're either homosexual transsexual or another kind of file. uh though even then there's uh that's a specific example of that. But broadly, it's about, well, you have to have been diagnosed, or you have to express your transness in in scientific terms, in medical terms.
Yes. You're correct. You're more correct than I could ever be. But I still win the debate.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't care about winning. I care about having a discussion. That to me, that's
Yes,
a
you do
true
care
winning.
about winning. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. You came here to dunk on me,
But,
and you got
some
instead dunked on.
sometimes I yield. I've been knocked down.
There you go.
I yield.
I'm gonna make a video about you, and I'm gonna make an embarrassing thumbnail.
Thank you. I thank you for that.
welcome. You're welcome.
I'm still figuring things out as to like if I want to produce content or something, I don't want to be doing something that everyone else is doing. Yeah, that sounds cliche.
Everybody thinks
But
that, and
like,
then everybody ends up
yeah,
doing exactly what the other people are doing.
yeah, that's the thing.
I'm going to originally do the same thing that everybody else does.
I think I won't be arguing with chat, but like
I
first
will
content,
be arguing with chat. Chat, call in. I'm gonna do the President Sunday thing. Call in, or I ban you for life. I'm kidding.
Oh, I have a
I'm kidding. I have a
YouTube.
very small viewer base. I'm not going to ban you.
I have a YouTube Philippe Second Auguste. It's I mean it's convenient still, I think, but I have like I have done stream, but like that's not really that's not really hard or where can I, do you want to post it?
You can post it, yeah.
Well, I can't post it because
Post it on
YouTube
the
blocks
side
links.
chat. It's gonna be visible on the screen that way.
Okay. All right. But like don't expect yeah, that's it. Well, wait, that's my personal channel, I guess. But
Personal channel. Damn. Got a
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
channel.
I created 2 accounts because I don't know.
Personal channel.
The other one is inconvenient still. The one's convenient, the one's inconvenient.
How inconvenient to have your personal channel made public.
I mean, Lonerbucks has Lonerbucks and also Lonerbucks Live. Why can't
Yeah,
I
but
have...
it's not personal and sort of. It's just sort of.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
sort of like
I
it's
mean,
different. It's not one is personal and one is public kind of deal.
yeah. Well,
Titan Uranus, why was I banned from Sunday's chat and Discord? I can answer that. I can answer that
no, you don't.
easily.
You don't
No,
have.
I will answer. I will answer
sorry.
right now, okay? Once and for all, I will solve this dilemma. You have been banned from President Sunday's chat and Discord for your evil doing. There you go. I hope all your doubts and sort of questions have been answered with this very clear and simple explanation. Listen, sometimes the simplest answers are the realest answers, and you just have to accept them.
All right, Philip Plagas has posted. Things are hard. The times are hard. I don't, but like, I don't want to be. I don't want to. I don't know what to do to not. Well, I know what to do, but I don't want to do it. And it's to get resources like money and stuff.
You want resources such as money and whatnot?
Yeah, but like, I don't want to be like, oh, every time I interact online, every time I'm visible, I don't want to be like, oh, this is the more I do it, the more we can get people to see me and get me money. I don't like that the idea very much, but like it seems uh, I don't do much else.
Yeah, I know. You want money, fame, and recognition, and
I
notice.
don't want any
Yeah.
of these. I just want to get a few nice things, and I fear that if I get caught up, I just want even more things, and I don't like that idea. I'm trying to live in this society.
Trolling from
But
Flax. Super gay behavior. You mean
it
super
is
cool behavior? Gay
gay is
behavior. What's
cool.
wrong with gay behavior? Gay behavior is good. But no, okay. This is not Sunday's channel. Let's not bring it here. True. True. Okay, I apologize. Okay. Anything else for me before we move on to the next thing?
I think you look really great today.
Sorry?
I think you look really good today.
Yeah? Oh, thank you. I do my best
Uh,
to look less ugly every single day.
I could go through to Google Translate, but cleb means bread, right?
Sorry, what?
Cleb. CHLEB.
CHLBG?
CHLEB.
Chleb?
Yeah. Cleb.
Bread.
Yeah.
Chleb
I
means bread in Polish. Yes.
I made some today. That was
Oh.
fun.
Oh, that's good. Okay then.
I have sourdough. It might not look much, but it's starting. It's just flour that's in a flask. It's well that's rolling from flask right now and
Trolling from a flex. Alright.
flask.
Alrighty then. I guess I'll see you next time.
I'm just getting into the ultimate bread life. Just making bread.
Alright.
Have a good one.
I'll see you. Bye bye. Alright, so what now? Now we do politics or something, right? You people want politics. The shirt? It's a turtleneck. Or were you talking to Estelle? You speak very well? Do I speak very well? Oh yeah, write in the chat. I didn't understand what that person was saying. Why didn't you understand? What's wrong? Did you understand what I was saying at least? Did you understand any of it? Come on. Come on now, trolling from Flask. Come on. Come now. Be serious for a moment. Magic, but we already talked about Trump sending COVID tests to Putin. That topic's over. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just that. Oh gosh. I apologize. There are funny things happening in the world. Okay? Okay. Actually, while I look for other things to talk about, okay, while I prepare the next topic in my head, while I mentally prepare myself for the next thing, you tell me Uh, you tell me, what other creators do you watch apart from President Sunday? Because President Sunday rated me, so obviously you must be all viewers of President Sunday. Apart maybe from trolling from the flask, which I'm not sure. Did you find, were you rated into me via President Sunday? What happened? How did this, what's your origin, the trolling from the flask? What's your origin story? I'm gonna check something on my YouTube studio. I have a sad feeling that. Wow! Oh my gosh! You know, you should all go watch my videos and leave comments and likes. I watched Vegan Gains and Sunday. Did you watch their debate yesterday? It was hilarious. Wait, hold on. Trolling from Flask. Are you a Vegan Gains viewer? Of course I watched the debate yesterday. I reacted to it. I am sad to tell you, trolling from Flask. You're trolling me. You're trolling me so hard. I don't believe that you watch Vegan Gains. I just don't believe you. Because I've never witnessed a I've never witnessed a sadder thing in my life than a person that knows absolutely nothing on a subject coming in to debate the topic. Yes, and I reacted to it on yesterday's stream. I like this is a revolution left of the box and no comment, chick. Wait, Philip August. I thought I was your favorite streamer, and the other favorite streamer is streaming right now, and you've named all those other streamers that I don't know. I know left of the box. I know left of the box because I've rated them recently. All right, let's go to politics. Let's go to politics because otherwise you will all leave and I don't have enough personal charisma to just, you know. I don't have enough personal charisma to just keep you here on the merit of me just talking into the camera. I'm not West Side Tyler. I don't have that kind of charisma and personal, you know, brilliance. Alrighty. Free is the limit. Are you saying you don't like me? Chud Logic. This is getting very Tyler coded now. True. That's my... Listen, okay? I have 40 viewers now because I got rated. Tyler has 300 viewers, so maybe I should be more like him. Have you considered that? Maybe I should be more like him. Sunday is terrible at debating anything outside of philosophy. He unironically made Vegan Gain looks well-mannered. No, he didn't. I disagree. Call in and debate me. I will debate you on this. I will debate you on whether or not Vegan Gains looked Actually, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if Vegan Gains looked well-mannered. Because you can look well-mannered and still look stupid while being well-mannered. You can be well-mannered stupid. Like, the ignorance on the topic just oozed from him. It oozed from him. Okay? Of course he was talking about Mike Hare and cans because there was nothing else to talk about with vegan gains because he had no knowledge on the subject. That was the point. Vegan gains just went in smugly and was like, I'm gonna make an impression of vegan gains now because I'm a new person. Yeah, President Sunday, I heard you thought that there is a genocide happening in Gaza. So, what do you think that President Sunday? Yeah? Yeah? Well, you know what? There is no genocide. And trucks are coming in. What's the capacity of the trucks? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the capacity of the trucks are, but is it important? The fact is, the trucks are getting in. And have you considered that before the war, there was enough food in Gaza? By the way, we haven't established any sort of starving. And do you think Dresden was bad? Because Dresden was a German hub of supplies. President Sunday. That's not good. That's not good. Do you think that looked good? What I just did? It was a debate on whether or not there's a genocide in Gaza. And just vegan gains came into this conversation clueless about the topic, which is the worst thing you can do. You can be well mannered, but still clueless. 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 Have no clue. You can have no clue while being well mannered. And you can be very well informed while being very, very rude. I've already addressed that part. Yeah, then Sunday said, but Mike heard the herder. Yeah, of course, because I don't know. It's called grasping at straws. Since the guy did not have anything to say of substance on the subject, then I don't know. Another subject had to be made in the hopes that maybe vegan gains would have something more of substance to say about that. Have you considered that? Hmm? See, I'm very good. I'm very good at defending President Sunday. I think I'm doing very well. Wow. Now we're getting... Damn. No, it's called terrible optics. Sunday needs to get better or not debate people who know how to do it. How to do what? You think Vegan Gains optics was good? You honestly think that Vegan Gains optics was good in that debate? You're kidding me, right? Just because someone sits looking half comatose. Yeah, I haven't really looked into any of the data, but I just think you're wrong. People are starving. Only 1 out of 5 people don't have enough food. That's not really starvation. In fact, this report that I'm reading to you right now says that Gaza is in a state of a crisis. It doesn't say famine. It only says state of a crisis. And besides, President Sunday, how can you say that there's a housing problem in Gaza due to the war if only 50% of the houses were destroyed? That's good optics? He did! He did! And all he got in return was, well, President Sunday, all the data you're presenting, these are all lies. They're lies, President Sunday. And I don't believe them. I don't believe the lies of your data, President Sunday. Damn. I will say that much. I will say that much. I'm not a big fan of ending debates on the note of you will die alone and disconnecting. I will say that. I will admit that. I'm not a big fan of that sort of debate strategy, sort of direction thing going on with President Sunday, but you know, we all have our flaws, we all have our vices. We cannot all be perfect. Like me. I'm perfect. Sort of, kind of. Maybe. I have to talk to you about something very important. Are you prepared to talk to me about topics that actually matter? Are you prepared to talk to me about topics that are of real big import? Are you ready? So, you know how in Europe there's this big problem of racism? Do you know how in Europe there's this big problem of discrimination against Roma people? In many countries, there's been the history of actual slavery. In Romania, historically speaking, the Roma people have been made into slaves, much as black people have been made slaves in America. There's been a long history of sterilization. There's a long history of segregation. There's a lot of history of marginalizing Roma people, sort of putting them in situations that leave them in destitute, homelessness. There's a lot of normalized racism against Roma people, treating them as less than, almost less than human. This is all a very, very serious topic. And it seems like some countries in Europe has been doing it bad to a degree that the European Commission cannot ignore it anymore. And the European Commission has issued a formal notice to the Czech Republic, urging it to respect EU law by ending apparent discrimination against Roma children in the country's school system. Right? There is a segregation of the Roma children in the Czech Republic school system. The Czech Republic is not the only country to do this by a long shot. There have been other countries that have done this. I'm pretty sure this has also been a problem in Hungary, but we need to have Karasu here to confirm or deny that. The fact is that I am happy to see that the European Commission has, in fact, in the case of the Czech Republic, said, hey, you know what? This whole segregation thing based on people's identity, race, etc., that's kind of awful, and you should stop it, or else we will have to take measures to make you stop. Right? The letter from European Council, or rather Commission, the European Commission reflects the alleged deep-seated discrimination Roma children face in the Czech education system, with a disproportionate number of them being removed from mainstream schooling or placed in special classes. Basically, you are a Roma child. That means you are in need of special education. You will not handle being in a regular class. You had to be separated in some way from normal children just because of who you are. Just because of who you are. Hoping to halt the apparent discriminatory practices, the European Commission first sent a formal notice to Prague in 2014. 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the European Union for the first time said, hey, Czech Republic, what you're doing is messed up. And yet 10 years has passed and nothing much has changed, it seems. It seems like the discrimination against Roma people is so deeply rooted into European fabric. Because I'm not going to say this is a Czech Republic problem. The problem of the discrimination against Roma people in one way or the other is definitely a problem that plagues the entirety of Europe. Not just the entirety of the European Union, the entirety of Europe, period, including countries that are not a part of the European Union. So, letter to Prague in 2014, calling on it to address the disproportionate and systemic placement of Roma pupils in separate schools for children with disabilities. So basically what this says is that being Roma is treated as a form of disability. Right? If you're a Roma child, then that means you are disabled. To be Roma is to be disabled. That is what is being said here. While the Commission in its new letter recognized that some improvements, such as putting an end to the special or practical schools regime, had been put in place, it added that there was still much to do. However, the Commission's findings show that Roma children are still overrepresented in separate classes or schools for pupils with mental, physical impairments or severe developmental or behavioral disorders, the Commission said in a statement. Right? Oh, hey. Okay, I have to take this opportunity to You're not calling in again, but I'm going to pause for a second the segment because I'm seeing some uh, things about marriage. I'm gonna say my 2 cents, okay? Just because X has been historically something, it does not follow that the thing has to be that forever. Okay? Many things were different things historically, but the meaning of those things change, and what those things represent to people also changes. While marriage started as something that just is about property rights for many people, marriage basically means we are in a committed relationship. We love one another. We would like to stay together forever, preferably, and we would like sort of like a ceremony or whatever that would sort of represent that. There you go. That is what it means for many people. And you cannot just say that it's meaningless in that regard because historically it has been something else. There you go. That's my 2 cents about marriage. Alrighty, let's continue with the Rama article. Furthermore, many Roma children who attend mainstream education in Czechia are also segregated in separate classes or schools. For example, in separate Roma only classes or in Roma only schools with lower education, which I've told you this at the beginning of this whole thing. In many countries, Roma people are treated as less than, treated as people of lesser value, lesser category, pushed to the side, to poverty, to destitute. And this is exactly the example of that. If you separate certain children into separate classes, separate groups, and then offer them lower quality education, it'll automatically mean that they will have less opportunities in life. It'll automatically mean that it will be less employable. They will be more at risk of being not being able to find a job, homelessness, etc., etc. The thing that I've been talking about for a while now, right? There you go. The Commission urges Czechia to comply with the EU law guaranteeing equality between persons irrespective of racial or ethnic origin, it added. The right to the access of education. The legal case against the Czech Republic dates back to 2007. So it's not even 2014 when the official letter was sent. No, this whole thing goes back to 2007 when the European Court of Human Rights ruled in favor of Czech Roma activists who had brought a case against the Czech state over alleged discrimination in the education system. Look how long this has been going on. 2007, 2014. Now we are in 2024 and the problem still persists. Do you see now how deeply ingrained the problem is? That it keeps being sort of pointed out, it keeps being brought to certain international legal authorities, but the problem keeps not being solved. Despite the victory, the activists felt that the state had failed to abide by the ruling, so they took the case to the European Commission. Almost a third of pupils in so-called practical schools are Roma, despite the Roma community making up less than 3% of the Czech Republic. International human rights organizations like Amnesty International have flagged this up as a serious problem. The Czech Republic has 2 months to respond to the Commission's formal notice. If nothing changes soon, Czechia can expect the European Commission to file a lawsuit in the Court of Justice of the European Union. Viktor Danek, a director at the Institute for European Policy, European told Czech broadcaster Radio Prague International. So there we have it. The discrimination in education against Roma people, which feels designed to sort of rob Roma people, the Roma youth, of opportunities, of education, to actually, it also furthers the discrimination against Roma people, because if children that are not Roma have less, children socialize the most at school because they spend the most of their time at school. It makes sense. Most of their days they spend at school. They make friends at school. They sort of create their social habits at school, which means that the perfect way to combat the discrimination against Roma people is to allow non-Roma children to interact and socialize with Roma children at school. And that's being taken away, because if Roma children are segregated, then the children will not be able to interact with them. They will, their ideas about Roma people will probably be built on stereotypes and the racism that is already being perpetuated. So the cycle in that way will not be able to be broken. So as a side effect, this type of segregation also perpetuates the ongoing discrimination, the normalized everyday discrimination that Roma people face. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense to you? Did I make a compelling case? How has the school let you down? I mean, are you from the US? If you live from the US, then it makes perfect sense to me that the school system has failed you, because the school system in the US is a mess. I'm gonna be real with you. The fact that the US school system ties funding to schools to property tax, not good. No, no good. Based on the EC's talking action, how tough do you think they are being given the constraints? I think European Commission, right? I think there might be some, depending on how severe sort of these things are and how much the Czech Republic will ignore these warnings. Based on the experience that I have with Poland when it comes to these things, there might actually be some pretty heavy financial consequences to things like this. Poland has not complied with certain things when it comes to human rights and democracy, and it has been fined with, like, some of the fines that Poland has been sort of sentenced, I guess, with, were in the millions per day, right? Millions of, I think even millions of euro per day of penalty that Poland had to pay for certain things. And of course, when it came to those LGBT-free cities that Poland had, that was a thing in Poland. the LGBT ideology-free zones. The European Union has withdrawn funding from those cities, so that was a pretty big financial hit. So I think the European Commission can actually be quite serious when it comes to these things, at least in the financial sense, by cutting certain privileges, by cutting certain access to funding, which, within the European Union context is a pretty big deal. Not being given certain funding and even being fined for certain things, having to pay a pretty hefty fine. I believe that if the Czech Republic does absolutely nothing and just keeps doing the segregation, that possibly might be the route that the European Commission would uh, go towards. Yeah. I'm from America. Well then, no wonder the education system has failed you. It has failed many, many people. Lucy, how will you ensure the poor, usually ethnic minority groups, will get shite education unless you tie school funding to hyper-local neighborhood property taxes? I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a that's a really good argument. I forgot about. So yeah, what do you think? Was that topic good? Did you enjoy? Have you enjoyed this little topic? Sorry. Still, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My life is full of little silly funny things, okay? All right. So are we done with this topic? Does anybody want to call in and debate me, perchance? Is there like a hunger for debate? Hmm? No. Nobody cares about marriage. It's fun to discuss for a second, but nobody cares about marriage. Debate vegan gains. Okay, what do you want me to debate vegan gains on? What is vegan gains view on Ukraine? Oh, I'm gonna. What's vegan gains channel name? Is it just vegan gains? Vegan. We're so gonna raid left of the box after this. Vegan gains. 311,000 subscribers. Jesus Christ. People like the stupidest things. He gets about Sunday's live audience though. Yeah, but how many views does he get on his VODs? 9.1 thousand, 10,000, 6,000. Debating a disgusting anti-Semite Hamas supporter. He's very invested in the Israel-Palestine topic, it seems. Vegan gains. What are his views on Ukraine though? Has Vegan Gains talked about Ukraine? He debates anyone from what I remember. Yeah, but what would I debate him on? I don't feel like I'm educated enough on unlike Vegan Gains. I am humble enough to admit that I am not educated enough on the Israel-Palestine conflict to confidently debate it. So, what would we debate on? What are Vegan Gains' opinions on the Ukraine war? I can debate him on that. Debate me on Ukraine, Vegan Gains. Veganism? I'm fine with veganism. I don't have anything. I don't. I don't have anything against veganism. What would I debate? I'm not against veganism. Why aren't you vegan? Because I like meat. Yeah, but I don't mind him having a problem with me. There's nothing to debate there. Oh, I have a problem with you if you eat meat. Okay, that's fine. You can have a problem with me. What's there to debate? I'm not gonna try to debate him out of having a problem with me. If he has a problem with me eating meat, then he has a problem with me eating meat. Then that's that. What would be the debate? What would even be the debate there? It's fine for you to have a problem with me eating meat. It's fine. It's okay. You can have your problem with me eating meat. It's all good. Oh, that's so cock. Defend our sweet meats, Lucy. I don't have to defend it. I just have to eat it. Okay? I eat it. I'm not in love with meat to defend its honor. Okay? Meat is my food, not my partner. Oh my gosh. So I don't have to defend it. He will argue with that too. According to him, you have to defend it, but I don't. Why do I have to? I have to defend him having a problem with me. He has a problem. That's it. That's the beginning and the end of the debate. That's it. That's it. The debate ends there. Like, I noticed that he has not posted the prison Sunday thing. No, you have to defend why you think you don't have to defend genocide against animals. Wait a minute. Just because I eat meat, it doesn't follow that I defend genocide against animals. That makes no sense. Well, he can say it, but it's not correct. For all he knows, maybe I hunt for all my food. I go into the forest and I hunt deer and eat the deer. Only the amount that I need to, fill my hunger, which should not be animal genocide. Eating meat does not mean that you automatically endorse the meat industry. Those are two separate topics. I'm just viewing his channel right now. Those What a weird guy that Vegan Gains is. Vegan Gains versus Christian Priest veganist debate on that weirdo debate thing. Well, you don't, but regardless, he would debate you on all of this, is my point, Lucy. Well, I'd win, I guess. You watch him, you can tell me that he can debate me. I'd win. I'd win so hard that it would not be even funny. Animal genocide. Okay. Anything else? Whoever it is. Vegan Gains. I was talking about Vegan Gains, Philip August. Alright, so what do you think? How long have we been streaming? We've been streaming for... Oh, we had a break, I think. I believe we've been streaming for more than just 2 hours. Or have we? What a short stream. You have been called a self-hating vegan by the majority report. That's not what happened. Vegan Gains went into debate very ignorant on the subject that he was talking about, and it looked very embarrassing. You should not debate people on things that you have no clue about. That is my point. Like, I hated when people go into... I've said this when I was reacting to the debate itself. I hate it when people go into debates just for the sake of debating. They have no clue of what they're talking about, and they just want to argue for the sake of arguing because they want to get in some dunks. They just want to get in some dunks because they want to win arguments, even if they have no clue on the subject. They want to be experts on everything without exception. I have to win every single debate. So yeah, that's basically it. Hold on. Is there anything else that I can sort of confidently present to you? Do you know where the European Commission was responding to any social movement pressure or anything, like on Roma schooling thing? Can you rephrase that question? What do you mean? Can you rephrase that? Are you asking if the European Commission has penalized any breach of human rights before? Usually when I see the government do something good, I usually assume that it's like because Roma groups or something kind of forced their hand through advocacy or something. Right? Right. I mean, that is often case. That is often the case, yeah. Unfortunate as it is, those things have to be sort of forced through means such as the European Commission, etc. Yeah. So, what is your question again? What is your question to me? The question was like, yeah, do you know anything about that in this case? I mean, Poland had the so-called LGBT ideology-free cities, the cities in which basically the LGBT was excluded by law or something in those cities because it was an LGBT ideology-free city, and the European Union uh, withdrew funding to those cities in Poland. So that's an example of that. And I assume those things had to be put forward to the European Union through LGBT activist groups, etc. Right? Those things had to be put sort of made aware to the European Union by those organizations, among other things. So yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, chat? Shall we continue the stream or should I go to bed? Oh, I'm gonna start a poll. I support puberty blockers. You can debate me on that. Lucy, I would have subscribed so I can find your channel again, but I don't know if you suppose kids transitioning medically so I can now in gun conscience. I support puberty blockers. That's my answer to you. I support children having access to puberty blockers. You can debate me on it if you wish. Now you can subscribe to me in good conscience. I'm starting a new poll. Up to you, I'll be around for a while. I started a poll, so it's not up to me anymore. Oh no, the evil of bad person gets one more subscriber. I intend on producing something on the deranged mentality that the consumer US responsible for the platform. What? Wait, what? What are you talking about, glorious content? What is happening? Well, I've said my piece. I support puberty blockers, so here you go. What I've learned about that's when she came out to me. Wow. Well, it's nice that you have a child. It's nice that you have a good enough relationship with your child that they could just come out to you and feel safe to know that they have your support. Same reason I wouldn't let my kid decide if he wanted cake instead of veggies for dinner. My reasoning is pretty comprehensive. Yours requires a copious amount of indoctrination. It actually doesn't. Trolling from Flask. Because children, believe it or not, you can look it up. The law varies from state to state, but there are many health crisis emergencies in which children have full authority to make decisions about their health without needing the approval of their parents. Look it up. Look it up. The troll in the flask. There are laws on the books in the US, and as much as they vary from state to state, there are many states that give quite a lot of autonomy to children when it comes to decisions about their medical treatment, especially in emergencies, outside of any outside of any, ignoring any outside authority, including parents. Give me an example, please. With pleasure. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Mm. With pleasure. I guess we're gonna finish the stream on that note. Learning some law. State laws on minor consent for routine medical care. Because it seems like you think that children cannot decide if they want cake or whatever for dinner, and hence children have zero autonomy on medical care. Which is quite literally not true. Let's go to the React screen. Oh yeah, I have to do the whole thing again. Bird milk. All right. State laws on minor consent for routine medical care. I guess we're gonna pick some examples. Alabama. Any minor who is 14 years old of age or older, or has graduated from high school, or is married, or having been married is divorced, or is pregnant, may give effective consent to any legally authorized medical, dental, health, or mental health services for himself or herself, and the consent of no other person shall be necessary. Well, what do you know? The very first example of Alabama gives us a clear legal permission for minors to decide on their own health without any problems, without the consent of parents, even if you say that parents decide on whether or not a child eats steak or cake. What do you know? Alabama disagrees with you already. Infectious disease. Any minor may give, in the case of infectious disease, any minor may give effective consent for any legally authorized medical health or mental health services to determine the presence of or to treat pregnancy, venereal disease, drug dependency, alcohol toxicity, or any reportable disease, and the consent of no other person shall be deemed necessary. What do you know? It seems that children actually, in reality, have more control over their health than you believe. It seems like it's not just, oh, children are mindless automatons, or rather minors. We're not even talking about children, we're talking about minors here. So minors, I guess, are not as clueless automatons that need to be given permission to every single medical procedure as if it was a decision on whether or not they eat cake or steak. Of course I can. Any minor who is 14 years of age or older, or has graduated from high school, or is married, or having been married is divorced, or is pregnant, may give effective consent to any legally authorized medical, dental, health, or mental health services for himself or herself, and the consent of no other person shall be necessary. I've read it. I've read it again. And in case of infection disease, any minor may give effective consent for any legally authorized medical, health, or mental health services to determine the presence of or to treat pregnancy, venereal disease, drug dependency, alcohol toxicity, or any reportable disease, and the consent of no other person shall be deemed necessary. If you're pregnant, you should have the right to transition. Great argument, lol. I mean, that's not the argument that I'm making. But even if that's the I'm just reading the law. So if you think that's the argument that the actual law is making, then I guess you're going to have to, I don't know, fight against the US legal system. Estelle, maybe I am, but my position is more consistent with basic logic. You don't let kids decide in most cases because that doesn't make sense. What you just said has nothing to do with logic, by the way. It has nothing to do with logic. Logic is not what makes intuitive sense to me is logical. You know what logic is? There you go. I'm going to show you a... You want logic? I'll give you logic. This is logic, okay? This is logic. What I'm showing you on screen, that's logic. What you're talking about is called intuition. Oh, what I feel makes sense. That's logical. Well, no, it's not. It's just what you feel makes sense. It's not consistent at all, actually. Just because you feel that kids should not be given any decision-making power when it comes to their health, no. If logic can be gained by intuitive sense, where does it come from? Trans God? It doesn't come from intuitive sense. It seems like we need to... Alright, we're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this now. We're talking about logic. That's fine. What is logic? I guess this is turning into a lesson on logic. Which is fine. I don't have anything against it. This is an education channel or whatever. Logic may be defined as the science of reasoning. However, this is not to suggest that logic is an empirical, i.e., experimental or observational science like physics, biology, or psychology. Rather, logic is a non-empirical science like mathematics. Also, in saying that logic is the science of reasoning, we do not mean that it is concerned with the actual mental or physical process employed by a thinking entity when it is reasoning. The investigation of the actual reasoning process falls more appropriately within the province of psychology, neurophysiology, or cybernetics. Even if these empirical disciplines were considerably more advanced than they presently are, the most they could disclose is the exact process that goes on in a being's head when he or she or it is reasoning. They could not, however, tell us whether the being is reasoning correctly or incorrectly. Distinguishing correct reasoning from incorrect reasoning is the task of logic. Okay? You do not get at what is correct reasoning and incorrect reasoning by going through by intuition. In fact, by depending on intuition, that is how you get to the opposite most of the time. Intuitive reasoning is how we get to, oh my god, lightning fell from the sky. There must be a guy that throws the lightning, intuitively speaking. So there must be some god of thunder out there that exists. Makes sense logically, doesn't it? Reasoning is a special mental activity called inferring, what can also be called making or performing inferences. The following is a useful and simple definition of the word infer. To infer is to draw conclusions from premises. In place of word premises, you can also put data, information, facts. Examples of inferences. You see smoke and infer then that there is a fire. You count 19 persons in a group that originally had 20, and you infer that someone is missing. Note carefully the difference between infer and imply, which are sometimes confused. We infer the fire on the basis of the smoke, but we do not imply the fire. On the other hand, the smoke implies the fire, but it does not infer the fire. Um, the word infer is not equivalent to the word imply, nor is it equivalent to insinuate. All right. Actually, I'm gonna check something. I'm gonna check something if this thing even addresses it. No, it doesn't. Let's find something. There you go. Because it seems like we have to um, do this. It seems we have to do this little education thing. Mind spurt. We're going to go to this page. We're doing this for you, trolling from Flask. All right, we're doing this for you. All right. Intuition versus logic. What's the difference? Intuition and logic is probably, it should be R. Intuition and logic are probably the two most vital skills required to make decisions effectively, but there is a constant battle between intuition versus logic. They are two very different yet effective methods, but when does one win against the other? Read one to examine the difference between intuition versus logic and how to use both traits effectively and at the right time. How do you use logic? What do you mean? Specify your question. How do we gain logical knowledge? What does that even mean? Logical, what the hell is logical knowledge? Are you a native English speaker? What is illogical knowledge? If there's logical knowledge, then there has to be illogical knowledge. So what is illogical knowledge? Yes? You know what I'm... No, I actually don't know what you're asking. It is very silly. But you know, I'm a silly streamer, so it's okay. How do you arrive at logic? What are you asking? Are you asking me how to use logic? How do we gain how do you gain logic? You gain logic by... how do you learn? You learn logic by learning its principles and then applying them in real life. That's how you learn logic. Logic is not something that you, for the most part, grasp intuitively. That's why logic is something that you actually study. It's a subject in maths. You want me to give an example of logic? Okay, I'll give you an example of logic. I actually got a pretty good example very recently. Okay. Do you know what the difference is between saying Stephen chose Anna and Jenny and the sentence Stephen chose between Anna or Jenny? What is the difference between Stephen chose Anna and Jenny and the sentence Stephen chose between Anna or Jenny? Trolling from Flask. Exactly. I just gave you an example of utilizing logic. That is how you use logic. Those are both logical statements. That is how you use logic on a basic level. There's nothing intuitive about it. So yes, we just went through the example of basic logic. There's nothing intuitive about it. What do you mean, sense? Damn. What do you mean in sense? Logic is the study of validity and truth of an argument. You don't find logical information. You are given an argument, a set of premises that lead to the conclusion, and use logic to determine how. Yes. So there we go. We're having a big educational moment. I'm so proud of everyone here that stayed for this. That's the word I used when you said that's not how logic works. I mean, sense as it relates to it. You mean, what you're probably saying is you mean sense as in how people use it colloquially, as in, oh, that makes sense. As in, that feels true, which is not part of logic, you know? That makes sense is basically a shorter way of saying, well, not really shorter, but it's basically a way of saying it feels true to me. Yeah, I believe it's true. That makes sense. I use it to mean reasoning. Oh, that's. Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example now? Like sometimes if I say something doesn't make sense, I'm saying logically it doesn't add up. Usually what you're saying when you say something doesn't make sense, you're saying that it just doesn't well that's yeah, sure. That is how people use it in the colloquial sense. Yeah. But it's still more intuitive. It doesn't feel right to me. Like this it doesn't make sense. You're saying logically doesn't add up, but you're not actually saying logically it doesn't add up. You're saying it doesn't feel. It doesn't feel right. Like when there's a locked room, okay? When there's a locked room and someone committed a murder in this locked room, this perfect crime supposedly, and a police person goes in and say, it doesn't add up to me. It's all locked. There's no way the murderer could have came in and committed the crime. It doesn't add up. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't mean that it actually makes no logical sense. It just means that the police person is lacking information as to what happened fully. Okay? It doesn't actually mean that the police person is saying this case has broken the rules of logic. You see what I'm saying? Well, no, that has nothing to do with logic. Now I was saying it's not consistent with how we naturally would treat a child, which I think is usually a logical way to treat them. Well, no, that what you're describing has nothing to do with logic. It's as divorced from logic as physically possible. I feel this is how we should treat a child, and therefore it's logical. That's as far away from logic as you can possibly get. Wow, I feel chocolate tastes great, and therefore I feel like if I eat tons of chocolate, then I'll be healthy and happy. It makes so much intuitive sense to me. It's logical, therefore, that if I eat tons of chocolate, I'll be healthy forever. Also, what does it mean to naturally treat a child? The healthcare system is not a part of the so-called natural world. We don't have healthcare in the wild. We don't have consenting to medical procedure in the wild that you can, I don't know, appeal to some natural way. Doing something that's not doing something that's divorced from logic consistently, that does not make it logical. Just because for hundreds of years people burned and threw dolls into the river to uh, greet the spring, it doesn't follow that it's logical that if you throw a doll into the river, spring will come. Believe it or not, even though it was done very consistently in Eastern Europe. It does not follow. Natural is inconsistent with a reasonable standard of what is a reasonable standard of behavior, first of all? And doing something consistently with a reasonable standard of behavior has nothing to do with logic, once again. And yes, it's not unnatural to eat babies. A lot of animals do it. So yeah, you're right. It's not unnatural to eat babies. Tons of species do it. But again, this conversation has nothing to do with logic. Nothing at all. We're not talking about logic at this point. Like, at all. Damn. We have left the realm of logic a long time ago. Logic has left us. Logic has divorced us. It is gone. It is long gone. Sadly. Well, okay, true. It has something to do with logic. It's a logical fact. Okay, that's true. 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 You're right. I've been schooled. True. True and real and all that stuff. Jesus. I understand, that's why I'm pointing out you're using the definition in a very formal way. I'm not. You're just taking past me. This is also no, it's not. It's not. Actually. It will at some point. It's not, because you're using you're using those semantics to try to make a case for children having the ability to decide on their own health as being logical or illogical. It's not just semantics. It's actually pretty important in this case, as it affects children's actual very real rights. So no, I cannot agree with you that it's just semantics. If it affects how you'd like law to be structured, I'll fight you. I'll fight you on it. I'll debate you, but you don't want to call in, so, you know. Whatever. Whatever. What the hell is a logical agreement? I'm sorry, okay, argument. Yeah, but you cannot say that a logical argument could be attempted in favor of children being given hormones if we cannot if we cannot agree on what a logical argument is, because you just call it semantics. You know? It's just no. No, 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 no. I've released a video on Polish fear mongering about war, so I'll link it in the things. I'll link it on YouTube, and you can go to it and watch it and leave a comment and a like. And in the meantime, I'm going to go to retire to bed. You should call in next time. So summarize what you think logic is, please. Gosh. Logic is a set of principles by which we determine if something is true or not. That is the shortest thing I can say on this. It's a set of principles by which we determine whether or not a statement is true or not. A statement can be true T or false F. There you go. That's the most rudimentary, basic logic definition that I'm giving you from my head. So there we go. We can debate next time. People saying that kids should be allowed hormones because they're not logical by definition. That's not true at all. And why do you say that? I'm sorry. That's why would you say that before I go to bed? There's nothing illogical in it at all. Children should be allowed hormone blockers. Perfectly logical statement. Actually. Perfectly logical. Sometimes you laugh like a pig. Me? Wait, I laugh like a pig? Just get out of here. The reasoning isn't logical? What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you trying to tell me? Yeah, exactly. It's just a statement. It's an assertion. True. But it doesn't change the fact that the sentence itself is perfectly logical. There's nothing that breaks the rules of logic in the statement. Children should be given the right to hormones or whatever. It's a perfectly structured sentence. Although from this sentence alone we cannot determine whether or not it's true or not. That is true. But it doesn't make the statement illogical. Well, yeah, but you don't understand what logic is the problem here. That's the problem. And then you call it semantics. So how can you say that you haven't heard a logical argument in favor of it if you don't know what logic is? Okay, I'll give you a perfectly logical argument in favor of it then, okay? Children need hormones in order to alleviate their dysphoria. And if they get it, the dysphoria will be alleviated. There you go. That's it. I've made a logical end statement, which is true. There you go. I've constructed a perfectly logical sentence. How do you know if they have dysphoria? I don't know. Doctor, you have doctors and specialists that determine that through talking to the youth, etc. But I have constructed a perfectly logical sentence for you. To what authority? Yeah, not all appeal to authority is actually bad, believe it or not. Yes. If there is a surgeon that has 50 years in heart surgery and treating heart disease, and they test me and they say you need heart surgery because your heart is in a very bad state, then you know what? I will appeal to their authority on the subject. Yes, not all appeal to authority is fallacious, believe it or not. Yeah, I will not fact check my heart doctor if they actually are telling the truth. I will actually appeal to their authority on the subject and their experience. Yes. If you don't believe, if you believe that, or if you believe that it's fallacious to believe psychologists, psychiatrists that test children for dysphoria, then I don't know. That's your choice. But not all appeal to authority is actually fallacious. It would make no sense to actually believe that all appeal to authority is a fallacy. Don't dip. I'm gonna dip out as well. It's late or early or whatever. It's if you wanna talk to me about it, um, then we can call in next time. Hopefully, they'll give you an incentive to come and call in. Didn't doctors say SIGs were okay at one point? Which doctors? When did they say it? What authority did they have to say that, etc.? That's also important. So yes, not all appeal to authority is bad, actually. Alrighty. And maybe you'll call in and we'll have a debate. Appealing to nuclear physics is not the fallacy. Appealing to a specific nuclear physicist saying non-demonstrated stuff because he's a physicist would be the... Yeah, true. Yes, exactly. That would be the fallacy. True. Many more examples of what? Of people abusing their perceived authority? Oh, hey, I'm going to sleep. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Good night. Oh, that doesn't prove that all appeal to authority is fallacious. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's okay then. When... Alright. I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night. Have fun. I hope this stream was at least a bit educational. I hope I was able to give some interesting vibes to your life. And I found it highly entertaining, actually. Well, then maybe I'll make it into a segment. I do need a rate target. You're right. You are right. We are rating into a person. We're rating left of the box. I've already decided we're rating left of the box, actually. You're right. You have already decided. Wait, so who do you want me to raid into, Philip August? And I'll do it. I trust your judgment on that, actually. Vegcom. What's Vegcom? Well, whatever. We're making a new friend. Well, your point is fallacious because there is no huge financial incentive to give hormones to children, and there was actually a huge financial incentive to sell cigarettes. So those examples are not even equivalent, but that's neither here nor there. I keep forgetting how to rate people. This is so embarrassing. How do you rate? Jesus, I'm so annoyed that I have to check it each and every redirect. I do it every single time. Every single time. Other life, chilling with chat. That's the person, Vegcom. Chilling with chat. Okay, we're rating this person that's chilling with chat. Drinking milk makes people grow taller. I don't think that was ever actually sold as a scientific thing. I think it was just made a thing for children to drink more milk. Drink that milk, it'll make you grow taller. Milk's cool. Okay, I'm finishing stream. Thank you very much. I will see you. Okay, I'll see you. We're going to the person now. All right. We're going to a different streamer. Bye bye. We'll continue this next time. If you can call in or whatever. Bye bye.